Hey, I'm back. This is Chandler for Melda Production, and today I want to show you more about how to make a snare drum type sound in MSoundfactory. So last time I went over how to get the basic sound, and that's good, but actually this week I've worked with it a little bit more and I found some other things you can do. So today I want to show how you can kind of perfect the tone, or at least make it sound a little bit better than what I did last time, and also add some punch and hit variations. So I'll show you what we had last time was something like this. So it should sound like this, if you remember from last time. So this time, one of the things that's just fairly simple that I kind of figured out was here during the noise oscillator. So before I had it at this, which is like -50, but I found that's actually not so good. I think it sounds more accurate at around like -75 or so. So I'll just let you hear it. So let's say if I move it all the way up to like 0, so it sounds like this. That's okay, but that sounds more like a synth drum instead of a real drum. 50% is around this. That's better. And let's say 75 here. That sounds a little bit more natural to me. And of course, I can move the length up a little bit more now, like this. So for me, that's good. But let's work more on the tone. So one of the things I have here is the noise. And the noise sounds good. And actually, the snares on a drum do sound like white noise, but there's some slight differences. And I thought about, like, how do I do this, or how do I get like a more realistic sound? And I was looking through various things. And at first I thought like a reverb, but there's actually something we can do that's a little bit different. So let's go through and use one of the filters. And you're probably thinking, what are you talking about? Why are you using a filter? But I'm not going to use a low pass or a high pass. There's a special type of filter here called the diffuser. Now, we can do this, and this will change the sound like this. Off. Now, I like to set this to constant. And of course, there's different diffusers. There's 1 through 8, so you can change it. But I like to do this and then set the frequency to whatever I think sounds good. So, like this. So you can set it wherever you want. And something I should mention is the gain also affects this. So if I have it here at 0, move it down a little bit. Like that. And the character will also affect it. So if I turn it all the way up, I don't think it sounds good. It's a little bit too much. Someplace in the middle, like 30 something. And then I can adjust the frequency and the gain to get it exactly where I want it. I think that sounds okay. So off, on. Maybe a little bit less. Okay. I don't want to spend forever messing with that. And also, if you think like, I don't really like that diffuser, try the second one. So this is number 1, 2. So you have lots of different options with that. So that's one thing I put on that. And you see, for the actual device I'm making, I did the exact same thing. So you can move this around. And you can adjust like the length of noise. And to me, that sounds better. So that's one thing I wanted to show you. So the tone, mess with it that way. Another thing I want to show you is the randomness. So to make like hit variations, what you do is you go into here. You can use the first harmonic, but I usually use the second. I forgot exactly why I didn't use the first one. But in your modal filter, just go into here, and we're going to add something like the randomization. So where is it? Note, random. I like to use true random, so every source is a little bit different. And we can move this up and down. I actually think I have these all the way down, but you can use up and down like this. And so that way, every time I hit it, it's going to be slightly different. Now you can probably hear it there, but since it's only one harmonic, it's not quite as noticeable. But if you have lots of different harmonics, it's much more noticeable. And I'll show you that I did the exact same thing here in the modal filter. So if I go down here, you see, okay, now we have all of these doing the exact same thing like this. Actually, I didn't turn it on. So let me go out of here. So turn the hit variation off. It's off. Sorry, it's off right now. So I'll hit it a few times. Sounds about the same. Now let me turn it on like this. So you should hear it sounds different. So that's all you have to do. So you have to do it with all 16 of these though. So I didn't do it here, but you get the idea. And one more thing with the punch, you're probably wondering, okay, how do I make it punchier? And so this is kind of a general synthesis trick, but some of you probably know this, but for those that don't, if you want something to be punchier, if you add a quick slide down in pitch, it will add some punch to it. So I already did it here during the semitones, but I'll show you how I do it here in the modal filter on this prototype. So now there's no like pitch, so it sounds like this. But if I go in here and I add, let's say, attack 1, which is what this is really good for. I should open this up and I'm going to move it down. And I don't know exactly how fast. I usually like to bring this down so the curve is like at negative, like 60, 75, something like that. And the time, you can set it however you want, but I usually like to have it fairly short. Let's try like 15, 10, somewhere in that range. Like that, and then we turn the depth up. So this is with it, the depth at 0, no pitch change. Now let's try moving it up. There we go. And see, that is almost at 2 octaves. So if I change it to 25, 24 semitones. If you put it up too high, it's not going to sound good. I think it starts to sound artificial. Yeah, it's too much. It actually sounds like kind of like a dubstep snare. And you can move down lower. So here's like around 12 semitones versus off. And so there you have it. That's an easy way to do things. And you're thinking like, okay, that's cool, but I kind of want to control it using velocity. All you have to do is just go here and add a velocity controller like this. And now when I hit it very lightly, it's not going to do anything, but when I hit it hard, you'll hear that. You probably can't hear it here. I'll actually show you. So we go here, have the punch at 100%, so get that same effect. But if I go into the globals, let's turn the velocity range to 0. So when I hit it really lightly, it sounds like this. When I hit it hard, it sounds like this. So you really hear the punch come out. And of course, I can set this back so that way you get the actual volume differences too. Although the punch does kind of add volume to it. So those are some extra things so you can add a few more effects to this snare drum. And you get it punchier, you can add some hit variations to it, and you can change the basic tone. So with this, there's a lot of things you can do, and you can make it sound like almost anything, especially with these and the different modes for the actual drum part. So I hope this gave you some ideas of things you can do and things to try. Hopefully this will be included in the factory stuff for MSoundfactory in the future. So if you actually like this and you want me to do another video like this on, let's say, tom drums or bass drums or something, let me know and I'll do a follow-up and show how to do those. But anyways, give me a thumbs up. Leave some comments down below. Check out all the other plugins at meldaproduction.com. And until next time, see you.